Stanley, Scuba, Sailing, and Adventures. It's time to escape, relax, and log another entry in the travel journal. We'll be scuba diving the Sunset House Wall off the west end of Grand Cayman. Sometimes it's good to be the first one in the water. I noticed off in the distance there was something moving in the sand. Looks like a spotted eagle ray. I love spotted eagle rays, and it's always a challenge to try and get a little closer before they take off. I don't really consciously try to decide where I'm going to get in the water, or rather when I'm going to get in the water, meaning I don't think I ever really try to be the first one in or try to be the last one in. It just depends on when I'm ready on that particular dive. In this case, it seems to have paid off to have been the first one in the water. It gave me the opportunity to observe this spotted eagle ray and try to get in a little closer. The spotted eagle rays range in size from 4 to 6.5 feet, reaching a maximum of 8 feet, and they're most commonly found in depths of water from 6 to 80 feet. Their most distinctive feature is the numerous white spots and circular markings all over the dark back. They have a white underside and a pronounced head with a flattened, tapered snout. They also have a long, thin tail with 1 to 5 venomous spines at the base. In terms of size, they're measured from wingtip to wingtip. The tail doesn't have anything to do with the size range that I gave. They feed on mollusks in the sand, and apparently that's what this one is doing. And from the sand here, it looks like that's what it's been doing. I love watching them swim, especially when they're not feeding and when they're just cruising through the deep water. It almost looks like they're flying or soaring through the air, and I often wondered if that's how they got the name Eagle Ray. Uncertain as to where the name came from, but I like to think that's why. Often they have a very, very long ripped tail, but this one looks like its tail's been shortened somehow. Spectacular. This dive site is located off the west end of Grand Cayman, and as I mentioned, it's called Sunset House Wall. It's located near the Sunset House Hotel, and I assume that's why this dive site has that name. It's actually part of the North Wall in terms of diving and underwater structure. I believe this wreck is called the David Nicholson, and it's a small landing craft that was intentionally sunk here as part of an artificial reef. I really don't have a lot of other information about the wreck, and it was difficult to find that little bit, but it looks like it's been here for a while based on the amount of growth. Here we have a hogfish in the terminal phase, or adult blast phase. A little information about the dive. This is day 5 of the Cayman Island dive series, and the 3rd dive of the day, dive number 17 for me overall on this trip. The dive started at almost exactly 3 o'clock in the afternoon and lasted approximately 50 minutes. I recorded an average depth of 45 feet and a maximum depth of 65 feet. My dive computer recorded an average water temperature of 86 degrees Fahrenheit and a minimum water temperature of 84 degrees Fahrenheit. There's a lot of growth on this wreck, as I mentioned. I'm trying to move around and just give an overall view. Here you can see we have a group of, looks like 3 four-eyed butterfly fish. There's just a lot. There are a lot of fish, a lot of growth, some different types of sponges, some sea fans. It's amazing to see how the ocean has claimed this wreck. I was watching this other diver take some pictures and kind of felt like somebody was watching me, and I turned around to find this mutton snapper watching me literally. The most distinctive characteristic, in my opinion, is that black spot on the mid-body below the rear dorsal fin. This is a great dive site. There's a lot going on here. This reef has a tremendous amount of life on it. A lot of small fish and medium size. And of course there's the wreck that we just explored. As I mentioned, this is day 5, and it's the last full day of diving on this trip. So I usually am pretty worn out by this point in the trip, and still happy to be diving, and actually most of the time starting to feel a little melancholy. It's such a wonderful experience to be diving, and I try to share that in these videos, but it's hard to always put into words what the experience is like. It's being like being in a totally different world. I know that we'll be diving this site 2 more times. We'll be doing a dusk dive and then a night dive here. So I'm using this first dive really to explore the geography and try to be strategic about my next 2 dives, what I want to see and what I want to explore. I'm always interested in feedback, so like to know if you appreciate the fish identification and you like the information about the size and depth of water. Drop me a note and let me know what you think. There's definitely a lot to explore here, including this incredible mermaid statue. I believe the name of the statue is Amphitrite. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that's my best attempt. Also known as the Siren of Sunset House. She's 9 foot tall and weighs 600 pounds. I'm not sure what the rules are on Facebook, so I didn't post any pictures. I did post one on Reddit, and that was immediately censored, but then the, I guess, administrator removed the sensor, and so the picture's posted there. But I was trying to get a view looking up toward the sea there, and you see I glanced down to check the picture on the camera, but trying to get the ripples of sunlight on top of the water. Anyway, I think I got a couple really good shots of the statue, but not sure you'll be able to see those anywhere. The visibility was degrading a little bit, and I decided to head back over to the wreck and do another quick little tour around. This time I'll cruise a little bit closer to the wreck so you can get more of a sense of all the growth in these little fish and tiny little ecosystems all along the side of the wreck. So, as often happens when I'm diving and shooting video, something caught my eye, and it was this fish. I love watching this fish swim. Look how it uses that fin on the dorsal fin and then the fin underneath, and it almost looks like it's flopping back and forth sideways. I don't even know if this fish could swim in a straight line if it had to. Anyway, it's an ocean triggerfish, and they range in size from 10 to 18 inches, reaching a maximum of 2 feet, and they're most commonly found in depths of water from 35 to 100 feet. The most distinctive feature is that black blotch at the base of the pectoral fin. See it there on the side? Seriously, I can't get enough of watching this thing swim. It is so peculiar to me. I can't help but wonder if there's some reason for the fish having its fins and swimming in this manner. If there's some unique adaptation or some way that the fish benefits from this. Do you think this fish could swim in a straight line? So I'm hanging out watching the triggerfish, and again I get this feeling I'm being watched. So I take a quick look around, and there's this same mutton snapper. Here's the buoy where we're tied up, and I always like to look up at the sun, especially when there's something up there to see. And then I noticed this grouper hanging out and decided I'd try to get a little closer. I didn't really have any luck getting closer to the grouper, but it was cool just to watch it swimming around as I was hanging out doing my safety stop, and And all these little fish kind of schooling around it. Looks like it's even got a little remora that's hanging underneath and to the side. Good times. Great dive.
Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment.